Whoa. Hello, hello, hello. How's everyone doing? Oh. Hey, Ann. Thank you, buddy. Yeah, all good. Thank you. Hope everyone's doing well. Friday. Where am I at? Just setting something up, guys. Just setting something up. And there we go. How's it going? What's up? Grace, good to see you. TC, afternoon. Yes, afternoon. It doesn't feel like afternoon. It feels like it's the evening here in the UK as it's already dark. It's already dark and cold as well. Fully winter, isn't it? Fully winter. Right. Nearly ready to rock and roll. Waiting for the data to go live, but yeah. Right, let's just get up sector, Bosh, and then race control messages. I'll find somewhere to chuck that at some point. Hey Greg, good to see ya. What's your little sim race, Antonio? Ah, well, thank you, buddy. Hope you're enjoying it. How's the missus and baby stuff? Yeah, they're good. They're good. We had a routine check up earlier. She's a big girl. She's a very big girl. So yeah, she's growing quickly. Hence why I couldn't do FP1. But yeah, thanks guys. Here for sprint quality, of course. 26 minutes to find out, or start, of course, this sprint weekend. I haven't even really caught up with FP1, to be honest with you. I know Ferrari did pretty decent. Let's have a quick check for my own benefit. Ooh. The top 4 places in FP1 preoccupied by Ferrari and McLaren. Intriguing in the Constructors' Championship. Of course, kind of the only thing we have left to really keep an eye out on. P6 in the Constructors as well, if you want to keep an eye out on that. But, interesting. I'm drinking Baileys. Fully in the Christmas mood. Baileys now. Hey man, good to see you. How do I think Mercedes are going to do? Well, what are the track temperatures like? That's the real key, isn't it? What are the track temps like? Are they hot? Were they cold in FP1? As I said, I've missed it entirely, so I haven't seen anything. I'm just looking at the results now, and obviously FP1 was preoccupied. I mean, Yuki was 5th, not bad. I mean, take it what you may. I mean, Valtteri Bottas was 6th in the stake. Lance Stroll was 7th. So, I mean, remember, Merc did go well here last year. They did go well, so the track is definitely hot in Qatar. Cool. Well, we'll see. We'll see what the track temps are like. Of course, they like the cooler temps, but they did go well here last year, even in those hot conditions. Whether they would have lasted or not, I don't know. Of course, Lewis crashed into George, didn't he, down into the first corner. So yeah, we'll see. They're coming off the back of a decent weekend in Vegas, so maybe they're a bit buoyant over that. So yeah, we'll see, guys. Not long to find out. How do you think recency bias is nowadays? People always tend to jump ships. Recency bias is as bad as it's been in history, especially with social media and with how popular F1 is and active is on social media. 1 week, Colapinto, as an example, is the next best thing. The next week, he's like terrible and he shouldn't even get a seat for next year. Same with Lewis Hamilton. People just calling him washed and not actually digging down into the detail. And yeah, F1's very reactive. I mean, there have been a number of comments on my race review, which, don't get me wrong, I did put the title, like, you still have to kind of have an eye-catching thumbnail and title to grab people in, but ultimately it's post-race Q&A review, and the amount of people that have not even watched the video, they've just literally answered the title, the question in the title, and it's just ridiculous. People aren't willing to watch kind of. Yeah, people are very reactive. They want to just put out a sound bite. They want to take things out of context, and they just want to drum up discussion rather than actually have. They will kind of just want to leave a comment, controversial, and then bait people in, and then go leave it. So low IQs. Yeah, we're in a very fast moving society when it comes to media in general, whether that be just like general news, like particularly in sport. So yeah, it's moving so quickly. Yeah, I don't blame Franco for doing that, Spice. I don't blame him whatsoever. So question of the day, is Qatar the return of washed Hamilton? I mean, this is the thing is that I stated in the video, and if people listen to it, man, the guy's still won twice this year. But that was George. He was beating George by a 1 race win this year, until George won that race. And yeah, it is all ifs and buts and maybes and stuff, but he still finished seconds and still got X amount of podiums this year in a car that's not great, and for a guy who's being left out of technical meetings and so forth. I mean, it's not bad, is it, for a wash driver? So this is why I hate short form content. People's attention span is lower and lower. Yeah, it really is a retard. I mean, there's a number of accounts on TikTok that I've come across that I'm not particularly a fan of, and I'm not going to call anyone out in particular, but there's a number of accounts on TikTok that I come across, and I really don't like them because they haven't done any hard work in regards to the fact that they just literally will read a quote that a journalist has taken from inside the paddock, or they'll read a quote from an article from Autosport or Motorsport, and it's like they've got hundreds of thousands of followers, and that's all they do. They just literally read that. They don't then add their opinion on top of that, like maybe what I would do on YouTube. Like, I will have a look at an article, dig, like, and then a number of other content creators as well on YouTube. They'll take quotes from articles and then do kind of a bit of a deep dive on it and give their opinion. Whereas TikTok is very much, they're just regurgitating what a journalist has spent time and effort to get that quote, get to the point of being in the paddock to be able to get that quote, and then write the article up for it then to just be nabbed by someone on TikTok, repeat those words, and then they're monetizing that content off the back of it for just repeating it. And that TikTok will get like hundreds of thousands of views. And today's society, really. One of the things that kind of just bugs me a little bit, because I mean, work smart, not hard, I guess. That is the very definition of work smart, not hard. If they're able to get away with it and earn a living that way, fair enough. But yeah, I don't, that doesn't particularly morally, that doesn't sit right with me. So. Lewis is great race pace. His qualifying has not been great. I admit that. Yeah, he's got a bit of a mental block, isn't he, when it comes to qualifying? And I think he's admitted that. So I think you'll see that change in Ferrari. But he's got inside his own head that he can't qualify in that Mercedes. But then when it comes to a race day, he feels confident. So when he's got the car underneath him, copy and paste. Yeah, it's copy and paste content, and I don't like it. I mean, it's the same with kind of like reaction content as well. I'm not a fan of like reaction content that happens on YouTube. There's a number of people out there. I say reaction content, sorry, not reaction content in regards to just, yeah, like like they don't even add their own input, their own opinions. They're not like critics and so forth. It's just a case of react to something, move on, react to something, move on. Like, it's not, because not all reacts channels are the same. Because I follow a lot of react channels with like anime and TV shows and stuff, but they're giving their opinions on stuff as they're watching it, and then they critique it afterwards, and that's different. But it's the ones that are just, yeah, it's lazy. It's lazy, but they're allowed to get away with it and make living off of it. So, as I said, it's the definition of work smart, not hard, I guess, at the end of the day. Don't hate the player, hate the game, if they're allowed to get away with it. So, reaction content is just an excuse for us guys to watch a video twice. Yeah. I mean, I don't mind. I've done some reaction content, but I feel like you definitely add something to it. Like it's something reacting to it, something that one I want to react to because I'm really intrigued by it, or I find something funny. But yeah, other than that, it's you're adding your opinions on things, you analyze it or whatever, you break it down at the end. That's different. So, what do I think of Lando's issue with choking after getting pole positions? I think some of it initially was maybe mental, but I do think McLaren have an issue. I do think they have a fundamental issue in the second phase of their race starts. There have been a number of times this year where Lando's gone well off of the race start, and then he just has covered off maybe the wrong driver of like Spain as an example and that. But I think he's learning. I think Lando is learning. So, hey Ayaka, she's doing very well, thank you. Yeah, she's fast asleep right now, fast asleep. So, with the Drivers' Championship over, what should I be looking at for this weekend, Pinoy? Yes, so what are we keeping an eye on for this weekend? Well, there is a very tight battle going on in the Constructors' Championship between Ferrari and McLaren. There are 24 points in it at the moment, guys. So neither team has won the Constructors for 2 decades. So both teams are vying for that title. I think McLaren is definitely 24 years. I don't know how long Ferrari's is, but I'm pretty sure it's over 20 years. I think the last time they won the Constructors was with Schumacher. Is that right, guys? Am I right there that the last time they won the Constructors was with Schumacher? Let's do a quick Google search. Ferrari Constructors. 2008. Was it 2008 they won it? Trying to find when they won the Constructors. It was 2008. So yeah, you're talking. Oh, hang on, 2 sets, guys. The cat is on the PC, and I don't want her turning it off. No, get off. I'm back. Catastrophe avoided. Dad joke there. Dad joke. Yeah, 2008. So that's still a considerable amount of time. And what's the maths there? 16 years? Is that 16 years? 16 years. So it's been, I mean, over a decade anyway for a team like Ferrari. Is way too long, approaching 2 decades, over 2 decades for McLaren. So both of them, that is a long time. That is a long time. So it means a lot to them. So they want that. And who knows, for Ferrari, it could be the stepping stone. It could be that stepping stone that's needed to then win a Drivers' World Championship. So, yeah, we'll see. 24 points in it. As I said, the top 4, those 4 drivers preoccupied the top 4 spots in FP1. So it's boding well for a good race weekend. Already winning the Norris started with McLaren when he was 17 years old. Was it 17 or was it not earlier than that? Or was he backed? Was it like, oh, not backed by him, so. Even Red Bull was still in the race for the World Constructors' Championship. Oh, Robert. Not with Sergio Perez. You're a positive man. I understand the positive thinking, but yeah. Is Ferrari have the chance to overtake? Yes, anything's possible. So it's the key figures are 24 points, guys. That is the gap. 24 points. Now, of course, with a sprint race weekend, there are more points on offer. Of course, there is only 1 point difference between each points finishing positions in the top 8 of a sprint race, so there's not that many points to gain. But of course, come the end of the season, with one more race remaining, one more race weekend in Abu Dhabi, it could be so important. Like Lando Norris got the fastest point last week in the closing stages of the Vegas Grand Prix, and that point could be the all-important difference. So yeah, we'll see. But I think, yeah, I do think it's Oscar Piastri went well here last year. I think McLaren are in a strong position here, and I think they'll feel confident. But I think Ferrari also will, because they've looked very good since Monza, haven't they? So I've just got a sneaky feeling, Foster, that Ferrari are gonna nab it. I really do. I think Ferrari are gonna nab this title. I think they're gonna eat into the points difference this week again. Will it be as big of a point swing as last week? Maybe not, but I think they're going to just win it. I really do. And I think we're going to look back at this season at McLaren, and we are going to be digesting this season for a few years to come in regards to McLaren, because they arguably should have won the Drivers' Championship, which they never truly believed they was in the fight for, which is absolutely bizarre to me. And they've focused all their attention from the get-go on the constructors. And I think they're gonna bottle it. I really do. I really do. So, would I ever consider doing F1 Manager content like Arava? Not really greatest. So, in regards to content for myself, I'm limited with time. As I've mentioned before, this isn't my full-time job, so I don't get the hours in the day, unfortunately, to be able to create the content that I'd like to do. So I'm very limited, of course, with a little one now as well. When I get home from my day job, I obviously want to spend time with her. So I'm having less time to kind of stream in the week and do those sort of things. But who knows? As long as I keep plugging away and we continue to grow this channel, maybe in the future, yeah, we can start branching out into different pieces of content. But yeah, F1 Manager, though, has just been discontinued, isn't it? They're not making any more after the next version. F1 Manager 25, so they seem to have a bit more momentum than McLaren. Yeah. I mean, maybe the only thing that they may trip up, what might trip Ferrari up, is their two drivers. Obviously, things got a little bit heated last week, didn't it? In Vegas. I mean, Carlos Sainz is on his way out. I'm sure he's been read the riot act, but at the end of the day, these may be the last opportunities for Carlos Sainz to finish on the podium for Ferrari. So, yeah. If he's going to get that opportunity, then he's going to take it, I think. And that could maybe mean the downfall of Ferrari's championship battle. But who knows? Who knows? We'll see. It's a shame that Sainz is getting sent to Williams of all teams. How the mighty have fallen. Yeah, but look, at least he's still on the grid. At least he's still on the grid. So, I'm doing well. Thank you, Antonio. Yeah, exactly. It's all relative. I know there's many people out there who would love to be in the position and get the numbers that I've got. It wasn't too long ago that I was one of those people looking at people with the amount of subscribers and stuff I've got and looking, that's where I'd love to be. So, yeah, I do take a step back and realise where I am. But, of course, the end goal is for this to be a full-time job and to pay the bills and more, to support the family. That'd be amazing to have a career of something that I love doing and create content on. So, did I not stir my drink? Of course I stir my drink. It's all good. Look, the Baileys is flowing. The Baileys is flowing. Right, let's have a look at the data now. We can set this up and get ready for quali. Only just 10 minutes till quali starts, guys. All right. How are we set up here? Oh, right, that needs to go down there. Do I need to make myself a bit smaller? Oh, it's a real unfortunate shape, this one, isn't it? Let's move that there. I'm going to make myself smaller. Do that like that. And then, unfortunately, I'm going to have to make you guys a bit smaller. No, I can't do that. Oh, this is such an awkward shape. And I can't spin it around. Such an awkward shape. Exactly. Loda, exactly. I mentioned about being a commentator. It's not something I'm seeking, but if the opportunity presented itself, then I'd give it a go. Yeah, for sure. Right, I think I'm ready to get started. This is such an awkward shape this weekend, guys. This track map. Unfortunately, you can't change things around. Move that up there. There we go. I think we're okay. I think we're okay there. Apologise, things are a bit smaller this time around. There we go. For all the sounds, I don't agree on everything. You're still a better channel. And that's the beauty of sport, Robert. We're never going to agree on everything. The world would be so boring if we always agreed on everything, wouldn't it? So, and that's the beauty of debates. So, yeah, I'm happy to disagree, and I'm happy for you guys to have a difference in opinion, and for you to prove to me why we have a difference in opinion as well. So, I've changed my opinion many a time. Those who have been watching, I've changed my opinion many a time, and of course, I always try and explain my reasons as well. And if you still disagree, then fair enough. Williams had 3 of the top 6 in the Destructors Championship this year. Oof. Yeah, Colapinto's not had a great run recently, is he? It's cool as is, Neville. Cool, cool. As long as you guys can see what you need to see. Oh, hang on, let's move that down there. There we go. Cool. Unfortunately, the most important feature is probably the smallest on your screen right now. Because this is the money shot. This is what you all turn up for, guys. It looks like a hand with 3 fingers. Yeah, I'll see it. Maybe like the 3, like 3. Yeah, something like that. Maybe, kind of. Maybe that's what they, modelled it on. God knows whose hand that is, though. Someone's never pinned us across that line in the last race. No. So some people have kind of... I know I didn't go deep diving into the regs, to be fair. Maybe I should do, but... They... Supposedly, it's not a... Thank you for the sub, Bridget. Supposedly, it's not a rule in the regulations. It's a rule that is set race by race. Set by the race directors. So it's dependent on them. So... Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, we'll. I mean, I'll have to deep dive into it. I've seen a couple of people say, yeah, it's based upon the race director or the race direction notes. I don't know. I think it's always has always kind of been a rule. I know there's been instances Lewis Hamilton and Hockenheim did the same thing and got away with it. So maybe it's something to do with unless they then come back into the pit, unless they actually pit. There's maybe a regulation that states that they get penalised if you cross the white line and then pit. I don't know. Really don't know. When does sprint quali start? In a mo. I don't know why my browser's not working. Let's see if that's... There we go. Sprint quali start in 5 minutes time. 5 minutes time. Hope Gasly's able to qualify well again. It's a shame he started P3 last week only for his engine to blow. Yeah, real shame for Gasly. You always knew it was going to be the case, though, because so many people were hyping up the fact that he has had no damage this season. So, I'm in Mority for liking the Qatar track. I think it's a good track to lap. So, like, I'd like to see this track on like iRacing and hot lap it. I'm not so sure it makes a good racetrack though, like for racing. I still think we've been a bit devoid of good racing here. The only time I've ever had kind of like side-by-side action is when a driver has particularly made a mistake. Last year, I mean, wasn't a very good benchmark and a barometer for us because of the nature of them basically doing a 50-lap odd sprint in ridiculous conditions. Whereas that's going to change this year, so... But track temperature is 21.9 degrees Celsius. So So that's 10 degrees. That's about 8 degrees hotter than what we saw last week. I mean, that might suit the Mercs, you know. The Mercs might actually be sneaky quick here, guys. That's we're later in the year this year, Qatar. Hence why we've had a 3-week break and we're ending with a triple header because that got moved to the end of the year. So I think that might actually suit Mercedes, but definitely more so than it would be up in the 30s and 40s, that's for sure. So the cooler the better for them, Mercedes, and they went well here last year. So yeah, we'll see. Hey, Evil, good to see you, mate. Do I think Joe will get the GM seat? No, I don't think they will because I don't think GM really need the money. They'll go for an American driver, supposedly Colton Herta. There's a link there between his main sponsor and the owner of GM or something. So I think Colton Herta will probably get that seat. Or maybe they'll go a completely different route. They're going to try and get an American in that seat for sure. And then who knows who that second driver will be. Very new to F1 racing overall. Appreciate you helping me get my head around the track. My pleasure, Brisby. Any questions, I'll try and answer as best as possible. And if I can't answer, there's plenty of well-knowledged and versed people in the chat. We have a great community here. And if you want to join the Discord, guys, as well, link is in the description below. You can always head over there. We have a bit... I'm always pretty active in the Discord. So if you have any questions... Same thing, if I can't answer it, someone else will be able to because there's lots of racing fans in the same Discord. So, yes, just under 2.5 minutes until Sprint Quali gets underway. Who do we think is going to be on pole? Who do we think is going to be on pole? Let's see. Sprint Quali pole. I have absolutely no idea. So I'm going to do teams. And that's the beauty at the moment, is that there's multiple drivers who can be on pole. Let's be honest, it's not going to be Perez. So if you're looking at that, at the options there. 12, 13, 14 and 15. Oh, I bet, yeah. Apparently this section is 8, 9, 10 and 8 from 7 to 10 is pretty good as well, apparently. Jaime Villeclair on pole and Betty probably Lando. Yes, I think, who was on sprint pole last year? Was it Oscar Piastri again? Or was it George Russell? Who was on Qatar Sprint 23? K-Mag. So the sprint grid was Oscar Piastri. Oh, it was two... What? Was it 2 McLarens? Oh, yeah, I'm looking at the starting grid was different, wasn't it? The starting grid was different. So, yeah, the 2 McLarens were on pole on the front row last year in the sprint race. Interesting. So, they were quick in FP1. So, 35 seconds, guys. 35 seconds. Piastri was struggling in FP1, was he? He was still up there, though. Still in the top 4. So, I mean, he's been underperforming, really, for quite a while. So, yeah, we'll see. But yes, guys, here we go. Sprint Quali getting underway. Thank you for the likes and the subscriptions that have been heading in. I'm now just going to mute the... Where is it? The alert box. As we don't want any interruptions. And here we go. Drivers at the end of the pit lane. And it should be green lights. Pit exit open. We are green. Magnussen out there first. Who is going to be who's going to be out in Q1, guys? Who's going to be out in Q1? Let's see. Will we see any crashes? 5.5 miles an hour wind speed at the moment. So that's quite breezy for F1. Now, oh yes, I forgot sprint shootout. I always forget. Sprint qualifying, the first 2 sessions are on the medium compound tyre. They're not on the softs. That's only in Q3. So the first 2 qualifying sessions on the mediums and Q3 is on the softs. So just for you guys to be reminded. So yeah, let's see how they get on there at the moment. So we're going to see multiple laps on these sets of tyres, no doubt. Now, what's interesting around this circuit is that it's very high-loaded circuit. So the drivers, their cool-down lap is very slow. So maybe we could see drivers getting in the way, especially in this first Q1 session. Traffic's going to be a bit of an issue with drivers going considerably slow. And yeah, you need to be aware of those on a hot lap for sure. Otherwise, it could be very dangerous. And of course, penalties could be dished out for impeding. Which, to be fair, we haven't seen any penalties for impeding for quite some time, have we? But yeah, let's see. Can Sergio Perez get out of Q1? That is the question. Maybe that should have been the question of not who's going to be on pole, but is Sergio going to get a Q1? But at the moment, pole position, 47% of you overwhelmingly think Ferrari is going to be on pole. Then it's McLaren, and it's neck and neck between Verstappen, Team Verstappen, and Mercedes. So we'll see, But track temperature is sticking around a 21-degree mark, just under 22 degrees. So we'll see. But Kevin Magnussen on a lap at the moment on the medium compound tyre. Let's follow him. The Haas didn't do too badly here last year. Nico Hülkenberg got caught in that free wide, didn't he? Into the exact corner he's going through right now, turn 2, while going not too badly in the sprint race last year, if memory serves me correctly. Or maybe it was in the main race. I think it was the sprint race. So let's see how they get on. But Kevin Magnussen, 31-0 in the first sector. Absolutely no idea what that is in comparison to everyone else. But Nico Hülkenberg's about to head through that first sector himself. So we'll see what his lap time is. Nope, sorry. Nico Hülkenberg is on his out lap. Apologies. Who is on an actual flying lap right now? I think the stake cars are. The state cars, Lance Stroll, apologies, Lance Stroll. So Lance Stroll, 31.2 in the struggling Aston Martin. Been very slow, haven't they, recently, the Aston Martins. Zhou goes to 31.4. He's looking to capitalise on ending the season strong. Potentially Ferrari's reserve driver for next year. He had a very good result of P13 in the Vegas sprint race on the potentially on for points at one point, it looked like. But Valtteri Bottas, who had a very poor weekend last time around, has actually gone quicker in the first sector than the two Ferraris, as Magnussen sets a 23.7. Who knows how good that lap time is? No doubt it will be beaten by the McLarens, the Red Bulls, and the Ferraris, and the Mercedes, no doubt, and maybe some other drivers. But Bottas is the fastest man out on circuit at the moment, guys. He's quicker than Carlos Sainz on the medium compound tyre. This is unbelievable from Bottas. Let's see how he gets on. He's got one more corner to navigate as Stroll goes 2 tenths slower than Kevin Magnussen. Zhou crosses the line and goes P3, 9 tenths slower than Magnussen. A poor lap time from him as Bottas goes in with a 23.4. Bit of a slow last sector there from him, unfortunately. 3 tenths off of Magnussen. But it's quicker than Carlos Sainz in a Ferrari. That is still impressive for Magnussen. Who knows if Sainz absolutely bottled that. But Charles Leclerc does go fastest, 1.5 tenths quicker. He finally got those tyres up to temperature by the time he got round to that last sector there with a purple 24.2. But who else is on a flying lap at the moment? We've got Albon out there on a lap. Colapinto on a lap as well. Let's see where he goes. He's out the barriers at the moment, Colapinto, and he's had a mistake somewhere. Where did he have that mistake? He was very slow in the first sector of 32.0. So very slow first sector from both the Williams cars, actually, as Verstappen only goes P2, 300ths down on Charles Leclerc. Of course, your 4-time world champion at the moment. At the moment. He is a 4-time world champion. He will always be a 4-time world champion. As Norris has gone fastest in the first sector by some way, a 30.6, a good tenth quicker than Bottas and a good 2 to 3 tenths faster than the rest of the field at the moment. So very quick in the first sector, Lando Norris. And how about Oscar Piastri? He's on a lap, of course, your pole sitter in the sprint race last year. We'll see how he gets on. Gasly goes P5. He's looking to capitalise on a good performance. Bottas sitting very nicely at the moment on those mediums. As Norris, fastest in the middle sector as well, 27.8 from him. He's going to go at the top of the timing sheets, and the McLarens evidently firing their tyres up very quickly. Well, Oscar Piastri hasn't actually, because he did a 31.0 in the first sector. So Piastri slow in the first sector as Perez with lots of work to do. Only quicker than Zhou Guanyu and Colapinto at the moment. He's 8 tenths off of the lead. Actually, make that 1.3 seconds off the lead, because Norris has just gone to the top of the timing sheets with a 1:22.7, 4 sevenths quicker, 4 tenths quicker than Charles Leclerc, nearly half a second. Thank you, Agualos. Thank you. I think I pronounced your name correctly. But yes, if you're enjoying this watch along stream, guys, as always, please hit that like and subscribe button. If you're returning, big thank you. I see the returning figures, and it's great to see that we get consistent numbers week in, week out. So thank you for tuning in to this watch-along stream throughout the duration of this season. We'll be back, of course, for 2025, but there's still a Constructors title to be sorted out here in the last couple of race weekends as George Russell goes into P2. And Valtteri Bottas, ladies and gentlemen, in the stake F1 car, has gone purple in the first sector again. Oh, he's just had it nabbed away from him by Carlos Sainz, the Ferrari. But Valtteri Bottas is flying in that bright green tractor at the moment as Magnussen improves and goes up to a 22.9 at the moment. And well, this track, if I remember last year, I believe the track really did ramp up in its usage last year. Track evolution was truly a thing, and of course with these medium compound tyres as well, you really do need to get a few laps in them before they really come up to peak performance. As Carlos Sainz at 27.8. And no! Valtteri Bottas has had a slow middle sector. Can he recover in the last sector? He can slightly, but he lost a lot in that middle sector there. A slower one for him. 28.0, but still not too bad. As Alonso goes up into P7 at the moment, it's Colapinto, Lawson, Perez, Albon and Ocon out in the bottom 5, with Hulkenberg in the pits at the moment. Sainz, a 22.2 from him, a 22.1. It's a double Ferrari 1-2 in this Q1 session at the moment. Sergio Perez is on his second flying lap here. So let's keep an eye out on Perez, shall we? Perez watch. He's currently in 18th position. Colapinto only improves to P19. Lawson needs to improve as well. But let's keep an eye out on Perez, of course, out in Q1 in Vegas. There's been lots of talk, as always, about his contract for next year, which supposedly is being adhered to, and he will be in that seat for 2025. But which is a real travesty, really, for a lot of the great talents that are out there in the Red Bull system at the moment. The likes of Yuki, the likes of Lawson, Hadjar, those in the junior system. Seeing Perez preoccupy that second seat at the moment, putting in the performances that he's got. He has gone green in the first sector, a 30.7. But in relation to the sector leaderboard, that is only 11th fastest out of everyone out on circuit at the moment. So Sergio Perez, only 11th fastest in the first sector as he heads through turn 10. He's on his second flying lap here. Is it going to be another green as Gasly heads up into P4, continuing his great qualifying performances since the summer break? Perez, a 27.9 for him. Better, but only 11th fastest in the middle sector again. So Perez is not going quick here. Neither is Lewis Hamilton either, as he needs to get a move on as he's starting his second flying lap. So we'll keep an eye on Hamilton once Perez rounds the last corner and crosses the start-finish line. What can Sergio Perez do? He's currently in the bottom 5. Where will his lap time put him? And it only puts him P9. He's slower than Valtteri Bottas as Norris improves again and does a 22.0. Perez is at serious risk here, ladies and gentlemen, as he is a full second off of Lando Norris's time at the moment. How about Lewis Hamilton? He's also at risk. A 30.4 from him in the first sector. That's not too bad. That's a big improvement over his previous lap. He is 6th fastest in the first sector as Liam Lawson improves and goes up to P10, but it's not quick enough to put him ahead of Sergio Perez. That would have been a good scout for Lawson. Still some time here for these drivers to do another cool-down lap and do one more flying lap as Oscar Piastri sets the fastest last sector out of anyone. George Russell going quick in the middle sector as well as Lewis Hamilton has to navigate his way around some traffic, in particular in the form of Max Verstappen. It's purple, it's faster in the middle sector for Lewis Hamilton, but not overly that quick. It seems his middle sector was really hampered down there, and well, he's actually slower than Sergio Perez in the middle sector, Lewis Hamilton. His last sector he recovered a bit better, and that might just be enough for him to see himself through. He may just get one more lap, who knows, as Lawson actually had his lap time deleted for track limits in turn 5. So Liam Lawson, track limits deleted, and he will be demoted down to his previous lap. That's for sure. No, sorry, that was a slow lap. It was a slow lap. Sorry. George Russell, though, really good in the mid. Oh, wow. 0.000 between Russell and Norris there. Wow. Identical lap times between Russell, of course, in a good run of form at the moment with the Las Vegas Grand Prix under his belt last time around. But who else is out there on circuit at the moment? So it's Colapinto, Hulkenberg, Zhou, Alonso, Stroll at risk in the bottom 5. Ocon is only ahead of Lance Stroll by 1,000th of a second, so super tight there at the bottom. And Sergio Perez definitely at risk, and you can see drivers prepping their laps right now. So who is going to go out here? One more run for these drivers. What can they do? Who is going to go out in this Q1 session? Who is going to start this weekend poorly? Are we going to get a big scalp like we did with Sergio Perez last time in Q1 in Vegas? We will see. Not long to go. Just over a minute. 1 minute now until this session. The checkered flag comes out and drivers have to cross the start-finish line, guys. Let's see what's going to happen as Alex Albon is flying through there. Is Alex Albon flying through? No. So look at this backup here that drivers have down into the last corner to prep their laps as Lewis Hamilton jumps ahead of Zhou Guanyu there down into the last corner. So here we go. Charles Leclerc is having his lap. Looks like Charles Leclerc is having his lap actually interrupted by Sergio Perez of all people. So let's keep an eye out on Sergio Perez as he was under pressure there from Charles Leclerc. Is he going to be able to improve? He's about to head through the first sector in P12 at the moment as he heads down into turn 6, and Sergio Perez is slower in the first sector than his previous lap time as Lando Norris is going quicker once again up there in P1. Purple in the first and second sector. The McLaren's looking good here, so Lando no need really for him to do anything silly here. But that's a good start to this weekend for the McLaren of Lando Norris. As Stroll moves up into P6. That's a good time for the Aston Martin of Lance Stroll. But will it be enough? Are we going to see a very chopping and changing leaderboard here in the closing stages of this Q1 session? Magnussen up into 7th, slower than Lance Stroll. So Lance Stroll, very good from him. Hulkenberg just slots in behind Magnussen as well. How about Fernando Alonso? Can he improve? Alonso up into P6. So this is changing as Perez is now in the bottom 5. And well, he's improved in the middle sector as Sainz slightly improves as well. But it's all about Perez's lap time here. Can he improve? Only by 3 positions. That is not safe by any means by Sergio Perez. How about Liam Lawson? He pushes Perez down. Perez at risk. How about Valtteri Bottas? He's improving as well. Perez, it's 1 more position for Sergio Perez. He could be out in Q1. Everyone is improving. Who is below him? Tsunoda, Albon, Zhou, Colapinto. At this rate, Perez could be starting dead last. No, Colapinto in P19. Alex Albon pushes Perez out, and Perez is out of Q1 once again as Lewis Hamilton puts in a good lap at the end there in P4, but still 7 tenths, 8 tenths off of Lando Norris, who is flying in these early stages. Verstappen up into P4 as well, but we have lost again. Oh, Tsunoda couldn't make it a double RB qualification through Q1 to push out Sergio Perez. How good that would have been for the RBs to push both Sergio Perez further down, and both of those drivers stake a claim on that seat that is undeservedly being occupied by Sergio Perez right now, guys. I mean, I don't need to say anything else, do I? I don't need to say anything else. Like, what do I need to say? What hasn't already been said about Sergio Perez? Like, he's going to be in that seat next year, guys. He's going to be in that seat next year. It's such a shame. He's going to be in that seat next year because he's got the money. He's got the money. He's got the money. But we have lost Sergio Perez, Yuki Tsunoda, Esteban Ocon, Zhou Guanyu, and Colapinto. And I guess Colapinto not at the races here thus far this weekend. Of course, coming off the back of a couple of races where he's put the car in the barrier. So no doubt just wanting to get around unscathed. As Perez on the radio goes, fuck, shit. Well, yeah. Yeah. He seems like a nice guy, so you forgive him. I thought Colapinto had backing of Carlos Slim. Maybe. I don't know if it's Carlos... Yeah, that's the rumours of Carlos Slim, but I think he's got a lot of backing, Colapinto. That's why he's being eyed up by Red Bull. So, Verstappen's going to love going alone versus the other 3 top teams again. I think he's not even bothered by it now. I don't think he's bothered by it. Ricciardo won't be disappearing anytime soon. Apparently, he's got a contract with a new team, Cadillac. Really? I mean, if Ricciardo makes another reappearance... If Ricciardo makes another reappearance at... Charles Leclerc literally went side by side with Sergio Perez down into turn 1. Which definitely got in the way of Sergio Perez's lap. So in effect, Perez and Leclerc were racing down into turn 1. And that definitely compromised Sergio Perez. And well, he wasn't able to qualify. He missed out on Q1, getting through Q1 there by 13 thousandths of a second, or 13 hundredths of a second. So yeah, that is that is not a lot, is it? That is not a lot. So that was definitely, oh my God, Pierre Gasly nearly crashed into a lot of the drivers there prepping for their lap in the last corner. So Pierre Gasly lucky to get through as well, to be fair. Could have been a very, very different, could have been a very, very nasty collision there at the end of the lap. Something weighing Perez down in the last few quali race? No, it's just Perez not having the talent. He's just not good enough. He's not good enough now. This is the thing is with Perez. You could maybe go, oh yeah, it's the first year. This is his third year in Red Bull. No, 21, 22, 23, 20. It's his fourth year in Red Bull. It's his fourth year. Like, that's more than enough opportunity to realise if someone is good enough or not. And he's not. He's not good enough. Sorry, I was saying, if Ricciardo makes a comeback, I mean, wow. I mean, has any driver made 3 returns to F1 after leaving? After basically being like, left out the fold? Greedy Red Bull, yeah. Do you think we should end the poll now? Oh, yeah, I'll end the poll, sorry. I'll end the poll. Thank you for reminding me, Gav. That's why you're a mod. Ferrari, 46%. McLaren, 22%. Mercedes, 15%. Verstappen, 15%. Ooh, lots of people think with Ferrari. Well, I tell you what, very ominous from Lando Norris there in the early stages of Q1. He was fired up on those mediums. And, well, it may be a different story over a single lap on the softs in Q3. But that McLaren is going to be strong in the sprint race tomorrow, which no doubt they'll be starting on the medium compound tyre. So, bro must have black man material. He's just got never-ending pockets, isn't he? That's the thing. Or his sponsors don't. It comes down to money. Supposedly the rumours are Helmut Marko and Christian Horner are at loggerheads at the moment. Of course, Horner wants to keep Perez because of the money that he brings in. Of course, the business side. I mean, if he brings in 30, 40 million, 50 million, that's a lot of money even for Red Bull to turn down. And that supposedly is why they're eyeing up Colapinto. Now, people will say it's because they're eyeing up Colapinto because of his talent. Yes, I do think there's an element to that. But I think it's also because he will fill a hole left by Perez. He'll be able to come into that second seat and replace the money that Sergio Perez brings in. In effect, that second Red Bull seat, the way it's shaping up, is it's a pay seat. It's a paid-for seat. And Helmut Marko is at loggerheads with Christian Horner because he wants to promote one of the junior drivers because he has a vested interest in that because he looks after the junior development side of Red Bull. And, yeah, he wants Liam Lawson, I believe. Yuki, we've mentioned this numerous times on the streams, is that Yuki is not seen as a Red Bull driver. He is seen as a Honda driver, and that partnership is coming to an end. So they want to give Liam Lawson that seat. Marko does at least, but Lawson doesn't bring with him 30, 40, 50 million in sponsorship backing. So that's basically it. And we see why, yeah, exactly. You see, I'm justified right there with why I put Verstappen and not Red Bull in the poll. But here we go, guys. Here we go. 2 seconds. Just need to open a window because everyone's on their outlap. Just need to open a window because it's got very hot in this room all of a sudden. Oh, there we go. There we go. Window open. Hoodie off. Thoughts on the new Cadillac F1 team? Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant that they're joining. It's still not enough. We still need one more team on the grid. But yeah, absolutely brilliant that they're joining. If Red Bull can keep a place in F1, I'll make up your own armpit deodorant van. You hope Mercedes this week is not going to choose who qualifies on top and let the driving do the talking. Thank you, Wandog. Thank you. Much appreciated. Right, here we go, guys. Here we go. So, Q2 underway. Are we going to lose another big scalp here? Of course, the medium compound tyre does throw a spanner in the works and does make that more possible. But yes, we have lost Sergio Perez in Q1 once again. Don't need to I'm not even surprised anymore. It's not even that much of a surprise that Sergio Perez goes out in Q1. But who's going to go out in Q2? Of course, Lewis Hamilton was quite fortunate there at the end to get a lap in. Was quite a bit way off the pace. Lando Norris was very good on the mediums. We'll see if Piastri can replicate that as well, as his teammate did. Carlos Sainz was P2. Nico Hulkenberg out there first with a 30.6, and that's a slow first sector from Nico Hulkenberg. But of course, he is on a brand new set of tyres, and they take a little while to get up to temperature, as we saw Lando Norris set the fastest lap there on his third run on that medium compound tyre. Which big rich sponsors like a driver? Money can talk, not every time, but he can. Ricciardo should return with Cadillac if he doesn't get a chance in the Red Bull. I actually think I don't want to see Ricciardo back, to be perfectly honest with you. I think Daniel Ricciardo should just call it quits. I want to see fresh new drivers on the grid, and for them to be given an opportunity rather than the recycling of old and tested drivers. Ricciardo isn't the man that he once was. As much as I would like him to be, and I think most people would, I don't think he is. So, right. So, Carlos Sainz is on a lap at the moment. P3 as the Haas's, bit of a gap there between the two Haas's. 5 tenths back, pretty much, is Nico Hulkenberg. Sorry, Magnussen from Nico Hulkenberg as Verstappen goes fastest with a 22.188 there. Carlos Sainz green in both sectors, of course, with this being his first lap, and he only goes up to P3 on a brand new set of tyres as well. So not great there from Sainz. Similarly to what he did in the first qualifying run as well. That first lap wasn't great, and the Ferrari, in Sainz's hands at least, requiring a couple of laps to get up to temperature, as Charles Leclerc hits the ground running in this second run, in this Q2, and is top of the timing sheets with a 22.1, as Magnussen has his lap time deleted there for track limits at turn 6. But let's keep an eye out on Lando Norris, fastest in the first qualifying Q1 session. So let's see how he gets on, as a confirmation of Magnussen's lap time being deleted there. Just outside of Leclerc's sector 1 time is Lando Norris with a 30.461 compared to Leclerc's 30.410. And again, Lando Norris not getting purple in the middle sector, but it is faster than Charles Leclerc. So let's see how he gets on through the last sector here. This looks like it could take him to the top of the timing sheets. It's all about the last couple of corners. Round turn 16 he comes, the final corner, and Lando, can he hit the ground running again in this Q2 session? Ooh, look at that. Less than a tenth separating the top 3 as it stands, as Alex Albon has gone fastest in the middle sector. What is occurring here, ladies and gentlemen? P14 at the moment, Alex Albon. The Sol Williams through to Q2, as Colapinto, unable to make it out of Q1, is currently starting last tomorrow, as Alex Albon is fastest in the middle sector as he comes around the last corner. And where can Albon go? Oh, P6. So, yeah. Wow. What happened there with Albon in the middle sector? But lost the Piastri fastest in the middle sector. So Piastri goes top of the timing sheets there with a 22.0, and it's still tight at the top there with just over a tenth separating the top 4. And well, Ferrari, it's good for Charles Leclerc being up there, but Carlos Sainz needs to, of course, ensure that he gets through to Q3, as every point matters in this tight constructors battle. 24 points separating the the McLaren and the Ferrari teams as they head into the final 2 race weekends. Of course, there are less points on offer in the sprint race, only 8 available from 1st place to 8th place, a point difference between each position, and of course more on offer on the Sunday. But every point matters when the championship is that close, as Sainz goes fastest in the first sector. It did belong to Verstappen for a couple of attempts, and then Sainz took it away from him. As we can see, Leclerc also takes that away from his teammate there. So good first sectors from the 2 Ferraris. Of course, it's all about just getting through here, as the 2 Mercedes have not set any lap times at the moment. Looks like they came in for another change of tyres. So George Russell on a fresh set of tyres. He's done a 30.1 in the first sector. How about Lewis Hamilton? As Lewis Hamilton has done a 30.489. So George Russell really in the groove here in the first sector with a 30.1 3 tenths faster than his teammate in P13. So we'll see where the Mercedes can put themselves to, as Liam Lawson was half a second slower than George Russell in the first sector. That's quite some way, and half a second slower than Russell again in the middle sector, as George Russell is flying as he comes through to the last couple of corners. As Leclerc up into P2, as Sainz goes up into P1, and so as I mentioned, taking Sainz a couple of laps to get those fresh mediums on up to temperature, but Norris fastest in the first sector as well, as drivers are going quicker and quicker in the late stages of this session, as George Russell, wow, 3 tenths faster than the Ferraris there. How about Lewis Hamilton? And Lewis Hamilton can only go 7th fastest, so Lewis Hamilton nearly a second, 7.5 tenths slower than George Russell at the moment. George Russell absolutely flying. Of course, these drivers only had one practice session to set their car up, but as George Russell has been over Lewis Hamilton of recent, he is definitely more buoyant. The team's #1 driver for next season, whereas Lewis Hamilton on his way out. As Oscar Piastri has had his lap time deleted. Oh dear. So pressure is on for Oscar Piastri as he has had track limits at turn 2. And well, he's on another flying lap here as Oscar Piastri goes fastest in the first sector. So Oscar Piastri has had his lap time deleted, but let's see how, if he can recover. He has a bit of traffic to navigate through the middle sector, and he seems to have cleared Alex Albon quite comfortably. But let's see where Oscar Piastri can put his car. It seems he's going quick at the moment. Pierre Gasly is out on a fresh set of tyres, as it seems, as we've got just over a minute and a half until the checkered flag comes out. And Oscar Piastri slightly slower in the middle sector than his teammate, who went to the top of the timing sheets at the later stage in this session, as he did in Q1, again with a 21.2. The last session, guys, Q3 will be run on the soft compound tyre. So remember that lap times will get quicker. So particularly who's quickest in Q1 and Q2 doesn't mean they're going to be quickest in Q3, as it's on a completely different compound of tyre. As Piastri goes up into P3, hopefully he was able to keep that within track limits this time. As Sainz enters the pits, he is admitting that he is comfortable, he is through, and you do suspect that be the case with Magnussen, Bottas, Stroll, Alonso and Lawson in the bottom 5 at the moment. But both Aston Martins are improving as Lance Stroll moves up into P9. How can Fernando Alonso get? He is coming through the last sector now, through turn 14, then through the quick left-hander of turn 15, and one more corner remaining from him as George Russell feels he's comfortable, as Hamilton is going for another run. He is definitely at risk, you would suspect, as Pierre Gasly is starting his run as well. But how about Fernando Alonso? He comes across the line and he goes to P9. So the two Aston Martins in 9th and 10th, but they are at risk, you would suspect, with both Lawson still to do a lap and with Gasly to do a lap as well, and Alex Albon and Valtteri Bottas, who is improving. And all of them, except Albon, are quicker than the two Aston Martins in the first sector. Magnussen slightly off of the two Aston Martins' times as Verstappen sets the fastest last sector and goes up into P4. The top 6 are safe. Lewis Hamilton improving there with a 30.071 in the first sector. He's quicker than his teammate this time around in the first sector, so that's a great first sector from Lewis Hamilton here in the latter stages of this Q2 session. Checkered flag is out, and that is it for drivers. So Alex Albon, can he improve? Liam Lawson has a bit of a slower middle sector. He's lost a bit of time there, Liam Lawson, so he has a lot of work to do to get into Q3 as Albon pushes Lance Stroll out. So Albon's now at risk. Can Liam Lawson get a last good final sector and sneak into Q3 here? He can in P8 at the moment. I do suspect that'll be it for him as Valtteri Bottas moves up into P12. Pierre Gasly isn't improving. He's at a slow middle sector. Lawson, no, he's still at risk from... No, Lawson is through. I think Lawson is through as Pierre Gasly, as Hamilton moves up to P4. As Pierre Gasly has one last corner. He's at a slow middle sector, but is it quick enough for Pierre Gasly to get through to Q3? And he can. He can. And Lance Stroll, who is on another lap there, is not quick enough. And Liam Lawson has made it through to Q3. We have lost Alonso, Albon, Bottas, Stroll and Magnussen. And well, Lawson has made his way through. Gasly is in P9 and Hulkenberg P8, and the top 7 from the top 4 teams. Verstappen is pretty much his own team, isn't he? So... Didn't even notice that overrated Colapinto got out-qualified by Zhou in the Sauber. Yeah, poor performance from Colapinto. I don't think he's overrated. I don't think Colapinto's overrated. So, what happened with Colapinto? I'm not entirely sure what happened with Colapinto, to be honest with you. I really don't know. Maybe he's just struggled with the setup. It's the first time here, remember. This is the first time Colapinto's been to Qatar. So, it's going to be interesting to see who's fastest on softs. Yes, yes. Perez shaking his boots right now. I really don't think he is. Because he's just comfortable, isn't he? In that seat. He's just comfortable in that seat. More than he should be. Thank you, Rohan. Thank you. I'll try and get through all the data as best as possible, and I hope you guys are enjoying this stream. If you are, please hit that like button and continue to subscribe. As always, we're trying to hit 34,000 subs. We'll be back, of course, for tomorrow. Sprint race. Qualifying. I'm hoping to be here for qualifying, but I do have an event to attend straight after qualifying. It may be I'm here, it may be I'm not. I'll let you guys know. But I'll definitely be here, of course, for the race on Sunday, which is where it matters. How is overtaking on this track? So-so. So-so. It's... Yeah, it's... I don't know. I think last year was... I have memories of last year where there wasn't a lot of overtaking, primarily because there was no pit stops. It was like just a sprint race, and yeah, there wasn't really a lot of overtaking. But hopefully that's different this year. So yes, softs for SQ3, guys. Softs are coming out. So who is going to be on pole position? You guys predicted it would be Ferrari. Of course, SQ1 and 2 are on the medium compound tyres, but who has the pace on the soft? Is it going to be Lando Norris, who has topped Q1 and Q2? Will it be George Russell again? Or will it be a sneaky good Q3 for once from Lewis Hamilton? Who knows? Will Max get up there? The 4-time world champion? Or is he still hungover? We'll see. We'll see. If he is still hungover, he shouldn't be driving. He's over the limit. Thank you, Gabby. Much appreciated, man. Much appreciated. I'm glad you're here as well. I'm glad you guys continue to return to these watch-alongs. And yeah, as I always said before, we try to do things a little bit differently here. We try to be a bit more engaging than other watch-alongs. And I'm just passionate about F1. And I'm assuming you guys are too, hence why you're tuning in. And hopefully my passion rubs off on you. And we've provided a great space for you guys to come and chat. And even if you've never chatted before and you just continue to tune into these watch-alongs and these streams, I appreciate it, guys. Much appreciated. And if you haven't chatted before, just say hi. Just say hi. Don't worry, I don't bite. James Hunt used to drive hungover sometimes. Yeah, those are wild days, David. Those were wild days. Actually, best commentary amongst... Thank you, Raven. Look, it's all subjective, objective. It's all opinion based at the end of the day. If you like other watch-along streams, that's totally your prerogative. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. But yeah, I try and do things a bit differently here and uniquely compared to others, because you got to try and stand out, but in a natural way. So yeah, 3 wins in 4 races for George. That's nuts. 3 wins? Has he had 3 wins? He's had 2 this year, isn't he? Red Bull Ring and last week. We don't count Spa. So, thank you, Pat. Thank you. That would be you, F. Sam. Good to see you, mate. Good to see you. Welcome, welcome. I think they offered Yuki P5 in free practice and now out in Q1 doesn't sound real. You need a Stuffey and Tomo live commentary for a race. Do you know the funny thing is, Goonie, is that it's not that I wouldn't. It's the fact of that I feel like if I brought someone else onto the stream, it wouldn't be what you guys enjoy. Because I do realise I go such into kind of like I do kind of just go in the zone and just start commentating, and there's so much going on. But if I then had to feed to another person, I'm not sure that would work for this watch along. So, but yeah. Hey Raj, hello, welcome, welcome. Good to see some new faces, or long-standing faces actually. And you're just saying hi. You're just peeking your head above the fence, going hello. Kimmy 1 still filling the sauce. Locked in mode, exactly, James. Yeah, locked in. I just go on with the flow. So, hey Morgan, welcome everyone. So if you're just waiting, guys, yes, we're waiting for Q3 to get underway. So who's going to be on pole? Let me know in chat. We already did a poll. We already did a poll of who's going to be on. Pole. That's why I got confused. Right, who's going to be starting first? We already did a poll for pole position. And you guys think it was going to be Ferrari overwhelmingly. Second place was McLaren, and it was pretty neck and neck between Mercedes and Verstappen. But from what you've seen thus far, who do you think is going to be on pole position here, guys? Let me know, as Q3 has got underway, and lots of drivers rushing to get out there. Only 8 minutes in this short qualifying session. Track temperature has slightly come down to 21.4 degrees. Will that help Mercedes, who like to perform in cooler conditions? Wind temperature has come down to wind speed has come down from 5.5 to 4.5, pretty much. Well, it just jumped up actually from 4 to 4.7. So that might have a factor here in this last session, where drivers will be on the soft compound tyre, no doubt. The fastest tyre available. So just because you're being fastest on the medium doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be fastest on the soft. So not long to find out who is going to be starting in starting on pole and for this grid tomorrow for our last sprint race of the season here at Qatar. Last year it was a front row lockout by McLaren. So will they be able to do the same? Of course, points on offer, all important points here in the sprint race that go towards the Constructors' Championship. But there's only 24 points separating McLaren from Ferrari at the moment. Ferrari have closed that gap down on McLaren, but Lando in particular does look strong here, and Piastri has won here in the past too. So lots on offer, lots to play for, not long to find out. And where can Liam Lawson, who is into Q3, ahead of Sergio Perez, who went out in Q1 and did his teammate as well, what can Liam Lawson do? Can he capitalise here and do a Pierre Gasly? Who knows? Who knows? As Gasly, once again, by the way, guys, and I've stated this before, I think Gasly is the most informed driver since the summer break, or the outstanding performer since the summer break. Gasly's performance since the summer break has been unbelievable. And just because he hasn't been winning races doesn't mean that he hasn't been driving out of his skin. So really unfortunate in Vegas last time around. So hoping this time around his Renault engine doesn't decide to go poof. But here we go. Liam Lawson, first driver out there on a flying lap on the soft compound tyre, as they all are in this Q3 session once the data uploads itself. But Lawson, what can he set in the first sector? He will catch the McLarens, no doubt, as they're on their out lap. They normally get one lap. I think it is a one lap shootout here. They might have enough time to get in and do another lap. We will see. But yes, one slight mistake here can be really costly, as Gasly does a 30.4, 1/10 quicker than Liam Lawson in that first sector. As Verstappen does a 35.0, and Verstappen's already bowed out of his lap. Verstappen, a 35.0, and you can see him going slowly. He's just let Carlos Sainz through. He will have enough of an opportunity and time remaining to have another go here, as Charles Leclerc does a 30.2 in the first sector, as Sainz also has to bow out of his lap as well, because of Max Verstappen going off and wide at the first sector. I'm just watching the replay now to see exactly what happened with Max Verstappen, to see exactly where he's had a wobble, but that did affect Carlos Sainz, as Oscar Piastri, as Lawson goes fastest with the only time set at the moment with a 22.5. We'll see where that leaves him, as Gasly goes ahead of him by 2 and a bit tenths with a 22.3. Or was that or actually, no, sorry. It's not actually an off from Verstappen or Sainz. It's the fact that Verstappen was doing a second prep lap. Apologies, Verstappen is doing a second prep lap, so that's why he's going slowly. I thought he had an off somewhere, and I think that caught Carlos Sainz napping. So Carlos Sainz also doing a second prep lap as well. Or is Carlos Sainz coming into the pits, or is he actually starting? As Leclerc did a 21.7. Okay, so Sainz is actually doing his lap now as well. But let's keep an eye on Lando Norris. Apologies there, guys. Bit of confusion. Norris, a 29.9 for him. The two McLaren drivers are neck and neck. They were both 29.9s. Only a few hundred separating Norris and Piastri, as it currently stands, quicker than the rest of the field, as Norris improves again in the middle sector, a 10th quicker than what we've seen from George Russell, as Russell is done a 30.0 in the first sector. Hamilton is on his flying lap now as well. We'll see how he gets on. as he did a second outlap, and let's see what his first sector time is. It's a 29.8 purple in the first sector for Lewis Hamilton, taking that away from Lando Norris, as Lando no doubt is going to go to the top of the timing sheets here with a time but 7 tenths quicker than Charles Leclerc. Wow, a 21 flat from him. How about Oscar Piastri? He's not too far behind his teammate, 1.5 tenths back, so it's currently a front row for the 2 McLaren drivers. But how is Max Verstappen getting on? And importantly, the 2 Mercedes as well. Max Verstappen, a 30.0 from him and a 27.5, that he is a bit off the McLaren's times, but we know that Max digs deep when it matters. And can he dig deep here? He can, but not enough. Into P3, he's ahead of the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc. How about George Russell? He's only up into P3. How about Lewis Hamilton? He's lost a few tenths in the middle sector. That's all important for him. It's not enough to put him into P1 unless he's done a mega last sector here. He comes across the finish line and Lewis Hamilton only goes P5 as he loses a lot of time in the last sector there. A good 3 tenths in the last sector, Lewis Hamilton. I wonder if that's a mistake, and I wonder if his tyres just fell off and didn't last in that last sector as the Ferraris are going again, as Liam Lawson has got enough time to pit in and have another lap. Let's see how Carlos Sainz gets on. Charles Leclerc is also going for another lap. Do they have enough left in this set of tyres to drag themselves up this leaderboard? Carlos Sainz down in P9. That actually isn't even a point finishing position here in this sprint race tomorrow. Only the top 8 score points, whereas the 2 McLarens are on the front row, as it was last year in the sprint race for Norris and Piastri. George Russell in P3. Lewis Hamilton just falling off in the last sector. Watching his replay, and nothing to really indicate what happened in that last sector as he comes around the last corner. So lost some time there. Maybe his tyres, as we mentioned, just gave up in the last sector after that really quick first sector. But let's keep an eye out on Sainz and Leclerc. What is their middle first sector? No. Okay. So Sainz and Leclerc are gone, doing another outlap. Guys, they're doing another outlap, Sainz and Leclerc. We've got enough time, 1 minute 25 until they have to cross the start-finish line, as it looks like that Piastri and Norris are on another flying lap here. So will they be able to improve on this second lap on this sort of set of soft tyres? Normally it isn't the case that you can improve on your second lap on the softs. So we'll see how they get on through the first sector. The first sector line will be coming up here as he heads down into turn 6. And it's not that far off, actually, Lando Norris's time. It is yellow, but that's only because it's a couple of hundredths slower. And Oscar Piastri improves. So yes, there is room for improvement on the second time lap on this set of softs. So Oscar Piastri purple in the first sector. We'll see how he gets on through the middle sector. Can anyone else improve? Verstappen on another lap as well. How about Carlos Sainz? He's starting a lap. 30 seconds until they cross the line. Only Liam Lawson is out there on a... only Hulkenberg is out there on a fresh set of softs, as Gasly has come around to set his time. No. So everyone's on a lap now. Everyone's on a lap. So Lando Norris is the first driver to cross the finish line here out of this last run with 14 seconds remaining. Actually, Norris is pitting. So he went out there to maybe just give a tow to Oscar Piastri, or maybe just bowed out of the last sector. And Oscar Piastri cannot improve. His last sector wasn't too bad, actually. A bit slower than last time around. But you can see there, lots of yellows on the board from drivers. Only George Russell really is improving at the moment. Green in both sectors, as Lewis Hamilton does a sub 30 second in the first sector, but he's slower in the middle sector. Again, a 27.6 from him. That's not good. Only George Russell here is really improving, as Verstappen did the fastest last sector. How about George Russell? Can he push and split the McLarens? Can he even get onto pole position here? And he can split the McLarens. It's George Russell on the front row as it currently stands. He needs a mega last sector here from Lewis Hamilton, and I don't think he's got it. No, it is green, and Lewis will start 5th. How about Liam Lawson? Is green across the board, and Lawson moves up to 7th. But it's all about Carlos Sainz. What can Carlos Sainz do? He's the only driver really out there, and he's 4th. Into P4 goes Carlos Sainz. He at least gets one Ferrari up there. Oh, another Ferrari in Charles Leclerc. And damage limitation there, really, for the 2 Ferrari drivers, as Gasly gets up into P8, is the best of the rest out of Lawson and Hulkenberg. And Hulkenberg is out there on a fresh set of sauce, but looks like he's made an error in the first sector for him. Unfortunately, he'll be starting P10, but another Q3 for the German driver. And it is Lando Norris in P1 for tomorrow, starting alongside George Russell, Oscar Piastri P3 with Sainz alongside him, and then Charles Leclerc in P5. The Ferraris there, not their best qualifying, you would admit, but damage limitation from them, but they were able to get start at least one Ferrari behind the front row, and Charles Leclerc not too far back either. Oh no, Liam Lawson's had his lap time deleted at turn 6, so Liam Lawson is going to start in P10, I think. Liam Lawson's going to start in P10, unfortunately. He's just had his lap time deleted, guys. Oh, no, there we go. Confirmation. Lawson down to P10. Unfortunately for him, he is starting P10 tomorrow. But still a good Q3. It's still great for him making it into Q3, while his teammate and Sergio Perez, the seat he's aiming for, is out in Q1, guys. And that is it for your sprint quali, guys, for tomorrow. It is Lando Norris on pole position with George Russell in P2, Oscar Piastri in P3, Carlos Sainz in P4, Charles Leclerc in P5, and that could be all important if McLaren are able to finish in as it currently stands. If it finished like that tomorrow, then there would be an increase in points for the McLarens over the Ferraris, but only by a few points, as there's only a single point difference between all of the places from 1st to 8th. Max Verstappen in P6, Lewis Hamilton in P7, Pierre Gasly in P8, best of the rest, Hulkenberg in P9, and Lawson in P10. We have Alonso in P11. Not bad qualifying from the Aston Martin driver. It's been a while since Alonso's kind of had a decent quali. I think we have to go back to QATAR for him to have made it through to Q3. Albon in P12. Bottas, a great quali from him in P13. Bottas always does well on a sprint race weekend. I don't know if you guys have kind of remembered that. He does well on sprint race weekends when there's limited time to set up the car. Stroll in 14th, Magnussen in 15th, and then yes, the big news. Is it big news? Sergio Perez out in P16, Tsunoda in P17, Ocon P18, Zhou Guanyu in 19th, and Colapinto, probably just happy he's not binned it, is in P20, and that's nothing, no disrespect to Colapinto, but the last thing you want to do is make it 3 race weekends in a row where you've put the car in the wall. So he's probably just happy he's in pit. He's not done that. Well, actually, he's probably not, to be fair. I don't know what happened with Colapinto in his lap. He was quite some way off. Zhou Guanyu, maybe he had some issues. Who knows? We'll see what he says in the post qualifying interviews. But yes, guys, that is it for your sprint quali. If you could please continue to hit that like and subscribe button. Sprint start time tomorrow, I will check for you. The sprint start time, I think, is 1 o'clock. I'm going to guess 1 o'clock UK time. 2 o'clock, so close. 2 o'clock UK time tomorrow is when the sprint race gets underway, and then qualifying is for the main race gets underway at 6. But as I said, I'm not sure if I'll be here for qualifying. I will see if I can make it. Of course, just depends on the event that I'm going to. I'm going for like drinks, and I'm going for like out for lunch and drinks tomorrow. So thanks for turning, everyone. We will be live. Exactly, Taco. Exactly. Good to see you, mate. Love for Lando to go out strong in these last 2 races and set the stage for next season. I'm sure he has that same attitude. And look, McLaren, they need to wrap up this constructors title. If they don't, it's tragic. Absolutely tragic. Russell to overtake Lando in the first corner for the 2nd time in a month. Oh, imagine. Thank you, Foster. Colapinto to keep the car in one piece. I think there's maybe that element into it as well, Marianne. He should be there tomorrow, going. Oh, happy birthday for tomorrow, mate. I hope you have a good one. Yeah, I mean, don't worry about tuning into this stream if it's your birthday. Go and get sloshed. Enjoy yourself. Eat plenty of cake and have plenty to drink. Lando can't do nothing. Piastri, I think, will take the sprint. Ooh, we'll see. Thank you, Trouty. I mean, he looks very good here, Lando. He looks very good. McLaren looked very good here. He looked comfortable, Norris. I suspect even if Russell leads at the end of the first lap in the sprint race, I think that McLaren, I mean, you just look at the pace he had on the medium compound tyre in that Q1 and Q2 session. He was miles quicker than everyone else. So, yeah, I think he'll overtake George pretty comfortably, even if he loses that position. Yeah, and I doubt there will be. I still reckon there would be team orders to the effect of you do not take each other out. That's the last thing that you do, Oscar and Norris. It's all about finishing ahead of the Ferraris now, and that's what they'll be laying the law. That's what they'll be setting the law, laying the law down for them. What time is the sprint tomorrow? 2 p.m. UK time. So 2 in the afternoon, Wolf. I will be setting the stream up. So you turn your notifications on and you'll get a notification of when I go live. So you get a notification, I think, 30 minutes before I'm going live for when I've set the stream up for. So, yeah, normally I think I'll go live probably half an hour before, maybe 15 minutes around that time. So, yeah, do that. And you'll never miss a stream. Return of the Mclarens, yeah. Lego Lammy is going to have a car in VRS. But yeah, good performance by Liam Lawson in P10 after a poor showing at Vegas. Didn't really comfortably got outperformed by Yuki Tsunoda. But that's a good start to the weekend for him into Q3 and making it into P10. A couple of lap times deleted though due to track limits. But look, him starting in P10 is great, an RB car especially. Only just behind Nico Hülkenberg. And yeah, Pierre Gasly is on a great run of form at the moment, isn't he? So, is it easy to overtake here? That's a tough one, really. There are overtaking spots. I would say it's probably with the nature of how... I mean, it's... Unfortunately, we were robbed of a race last year, pretty much, because of the nature of no pit stops. I think the fact that drivers had to... Was it one? No, was it... Was there a pit stop? They had to. Did they have to pit last year, or they had to use the same set of tyres? I can't remember. I'd say medium. It's not easy, but it's not tough. Mainly because tyres can fall off a cliff here. So, yeah. Hopefully we get a good race here. I mean, the sprint race I'm always a little bit dubious about in regards to whether we're going to get good races or not. But yeah, the race on Sunday should be a lot better because we've got the element of strategy. So, what happened to Hamilton? I don't know. He went purple in the first sector, and then he had a poor middle sector, and he had a poor last sector. So, yeah, for Lewis, maybe he killed his tyres a bit too much in the first sector. I don't know, or maybe he just had errors in the second and third sector. Maybe it's his setup. Maybe he hasn't set the car up correctly. Only an hour of FP1 to get the car in a decent window. Maybe the car feels good in the first sector, but then it's not great for the second and last sector. I don't know. Look, I don't expect Lewis to be quick in this Mercedes in qualifying now with 2 races remaining. I think you're kidding yourself if you think he's going to all of a sudden pull something out of the bag. He just wants his season to be over and done with, so... Personally, a tyre should last 1 full lap. I agree, Taco. I agree, yeah. But it's crazy, isn't it, that they can put too much load on a tyre in qualifying. Otherwise, yeah, that they have to like sometimes consciously think about, do I go hard at the start or wait, do I push at the end? Like, it's just, it's mad. Qualifying should be all about who can just go quickest and push the hardest. Not whether or not the tyre is going to give way. I think that's something that should just be... Shouldn't happen in F1. But yeah, guys, that is your grid for tomorrow. I don't think there's any penalties on the cards for the sprint race. So yeah, it's Lando Norris on pole position. Russell lining up in P2. Piastri in P3. Sainz P4. Leclerc in P5. Important for them tomorrow to get ahead at least of one of the McLarens, that's for sure. Verstappen in P6, probably still hungover after winning the championship last week in Vegas. Hamilton in P7, Gasly in P8, continuing that great run of form in the Alpine. Apparently they have more upgrades here this weekend, the Alpine, that are on Gasly's car, so that might indicate why Ocon not performing that great as he went out in Q1. Hülkenberg in P9. Once again, another Q3 performance for Hülkenberg. Such good driving from him this year. Lawson in P10. Good performance from him, making it into Q3 while his teammate went out in Q1, and Perez also out in Q1. Alonso in P11. Albon in P12. Bottas, a good performance from him in P13. Stroll in P14. Magnussen 15th. Perez 16th. Shock horror, said absolutely no one. Tsunoda in P17, Ocon in 18th, Joe 19th, and Colapinto probably just happy he's not in the barrier in P20. And that is it, guys. That is it. Can Lewis change the setup before the sprint? No. So they're locked in for the sprint race now, Bevo, but they will be able to change their setup after the sprint race for qualifying in the evening tomorrow, so you can now switch it before qualifying. Yes, sorry, as Phalanges has said there. So yeah, no guys, thank you for tuning in as always. Please continue to hit that like and subscribe button. We'll be back tomorrow. I'm gonna go set up the stream. There may be a race tonight or tomorrow that I post up. Not entirely sure yet, so yeah, keep an eye out, but most importantly, turn your notifications on to be notified of when a video goes up and when I'm going live, so you never miss a stream. So have a good Friday evening guys, and we'll catch you tomorrow. Bye.